Okay, this is your invest in your English. It's your grammar. Excuse me. Verb tenses. You have to master them. So let's go. I chose a little cat because I have two cats. Okay, so they're gonna send you love. I chose balloons because some people think, oh, it looks like a kid's. I don't care. Balloons, it's a happy feeling, and I want you to be positive about this and not negative. Okay, have fun with this at the same time. Learn them and master them. Okay, here we go. The first page. You have here. You have verb tenses in the affirmative. Okay, so you have example. I go to the restaurant each Tuesday. I'm coming to the restaurant now. I went to the restaurant yesterday. While I was going to the restaurant, a police car stopped me for speeding. And the last one is, I have gone to the same restaurant 5 times in my life. Now you notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences in 5 different contexts. I thought of a solution to help you understand this better. Think of these 5 sentences as 5 children. Go with my theme. Balloons, have fun. Let's have fun like kids. Be curious, okay? And not be, oh, I hate this. No, just be curious about the world. And your world now with me is English. 5 children. And think of them, they all have a special personality. They all have different hats, okay, to go with their coat, okay? So think of them as children. Let's meet the first child, okay? Let's go here. You have the simple present. Have you ever thought of this? Because you people often, when you speak or write, you say, example, I'm always going to my parents' place. Why do you use the present progressive? Always is a routine. So if it's a routine, you're using simple present. Look at here. I go to the restaurant each Tuesday. The key word there is each. Routine. Every Tuesday. Okay? So I have simple present. I have some sentences here. George sees his client every Friday. Sally brings cookies to her favorite lawyer once a month. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. So you're going to use the simple present when it's a routine or when it's general truth, like the last one. Canada has 10 provinces. Now let's go with the next child, okay? His name is, wait, oh my God. It's present progressive. The present progressive is, this is where you guys have to learn, okay? Because I don't know if it's your case. However, a lot of you you mix up the context. So the present progressive is context. Actions in progress in the present, right now or temporary. The action is temporary. It's not a routine, fixed. It's temporary in the present moment. So for example, here, I'm going to the restaurant now. Keyword would be now. Or you have Melanie is starting work today as a paralegal. Exciting, huh? Larry is visiting his clients at this moment. The witnesses are staying in Quebec 3 weeks to testify. Now, here the last sentence is the context of it's temporary. It's only 3 weeks. It's not every week. So we're going to use the present progressive. Okay? Now let's go with the next one. Simple past. Here, we know the simple past is an action that happened in the past, but the past is not general, it's not vague, it's specific. Okay, so remember that, specific. I went to the restaurant last week. So Rodney lost his trial when he was 16 years old. So you see my when? That is my keyword to say it's a specific moment in the past. Rebecca overreacted on the stand yesterday. Again, overreacted is in the simple past because it happened specifically yesterday. Corey decided to plead guilty at his trial last week. Again, last week is this precise moment. So you have a go, yesterday, last, or when. They're all the same context where we have to use the simple past. Okay, now let's go on to our next child. Okay, no, we're going to go, it's going to be here, the past progressive. While I was going to the restaurant, a police car stopped me for speeding. Okay, so there, the past progressive is interesting, and again, you use it wrong when you use it in English. You use it like French. Okay, so please listen carefully. The past progressive in English is, I love it because it's a story. It's not a repeated action that happened in the past. Example, if I say, every day when I was a child, I was visiting my grandmother? No, that's a francophone speaking. Every day is a routine. When I was a child. Specific moment in the past. I visited my grandmother. The past progressive in English is used in a really fun way. We are telling a story, so it's an estimated period of time in progress in the past. Mr. McCarthy, what does that mean? Well, look at the sentence here. While I was going to the restaurant, so a police car stopped me. So I was in the progress of going to the restaurant, and something happened. So that something happened is a simple past. It's precise at that moment. But the progress is before it, and I have a key word there, while. That means in duration. So while. So look here below. Yesterday morning, I was helping the lawyer with the case while you were sleeping. So, lazy. So, yesterday morning's the time, and while is a key word to say these actions were happening at the same time. Okay? Randy was eating at the restaurant when the burglar entered. Again, similar to the first sentence. Randy, he was eating at a restaurant, and then at that precise moment, a burglar arrived. So the when is a specific moment, so my verb is in the simple past. But I don't have while here, but from the context alone, I know I need to use the past progressive. And the last one, at precisely 8 o'clock last night. So again, at 8 o'clock last night, if I were to look in your house or apartment, what were you doing? And so at 8 o'clock last night, I was studying for my law exams. Good luck. Okay, now let's go to the next child. The present perfect. Now, here I want you to understand something. Present perfect is one of our favorite verbs in English. Why? Because often we talk about the past, but if I say always, in the past I left, I ran to McDonald's, I left for Paris, I had an accident, I fell in love. Yes, I'm using simple past, huh? You think it's fun, huh? Well, it's not fun. Because if I say I left for Paris, I'm using simple past, I have to give a specific moment. And we English people don't always want to give details. So the present perfect is fun. I have freedom, I really do. Because I can say, I've gone to the same restaurant 5 times in my life. Do you know when I went to these restaurants? No, and I'm not telling you either. The important thing is that I have been there. The what is important, not the when. So you have Jody and his friend have already been in jail for 2 weeks. Again, when in the past? It's vague. We don't care. We want to know what happened. Okay? Robert has never committed a crime in his life. Again, the same context. When in his life? We don't know. Judge, the accused, has used this rifle before. Okay? So a lawyer is saying this. Hey, Judge, the accused has used this rifle before. When before? We don't care. The important thing, he has used this rifle before. Okay? Now let's go. Now we're going to do something else. Now we're going to use these children. These children are going to wear hats. Okay? And they all have a different hat. Okay? I thought this might help you because, Lord, you have difficulty. So think of the simple present. That's the first child. Okay? think of him, his hat is, he's going to use a hat and it's going to be called do. Do, does, do, does, do, does. That's his hat, okay? Because in the negative, if I say George sees his clients every Friday, the negative, because George is a third person singular, you have to say the does. So it's he does not, and my verb has to be always base form. So that's another part of your hat. It has a little base form on it. So it's do, does, base form, do, does, base form. Okay? So you have Sally brings cookies to her favorite lawyer once a month. Sally does not bring cookies. Okay? Canada has 10 provinces. Again, Canada, so it's a third person singular. Canada is it, so it's again, Canada does not, and my verb is base form. It's neutral, it's invariable. Have. Okay? Now let's go to this child, the present progressive. Now the present progressive has a different kind of hat. When it wants to do the negative, it has to do not present participle, not present participle. So when you got here, Melanie is starting work today. We have auxiliary, present participle here. Well, the negative, you're simply going to add that not in between the auxiliary and the verb. But you have to remember, you have to keep the verb here, you have to keep it present participle. So Melanie is not starting today as a paralegal. Larry is visiting his clients at this moment. Well, Larry is not visiting, so it's easier, this one. You just have to add not. Okay? And the witnesses are staying in Quebec. Well, the witnesses, I have to fix this one, but they are not staying. So whether it's are or is, you just add not for this one. So that's interesting. That's an interesting hat. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here you have negative simple past. Okay. Here you're going to use the past. You're going to use did, that hat. Okay. Did, you're going to use plus not. It has a not. Okay. So, and your verb, you always have to keep it in base form still. Okay. So when I get Rodney lost his trial when he was 16 years old, if I want to put that in the negative, I simply say Rodney is a he. So I'm going to use did always. That's what's fun in the past. There's no, in the present, do, does, do, does. In the past, it's only did. There's no difference. Okay, it's always did. He, she, they, did. Not, but my verb, look, it changes. Lost in the negatives becomes lose, back to base form. You have to remember that. Rebecca's overreacted on the stand yesterday. Well, she did not. Again, bring it back to base form. Overreact. Corey decided to plead guilty at his trial last week. He did not. Again, bring it back to base form. Decide. Okay, let's continue. Now we're going to the past progressive. The past progressive is easy too because it's like the present progressive. You really, if you understand the past progressive, how to use it, the negative, you just put a not in between the auxiliary and the present participle. So, yesterday morning, I was helping the lawyer with the case while you were sleeping. Well, if I want to put that in the negative, I could simply say, I was not helping. Okay? Randy was eating at the restaurant when the burglar entered. Again, if I want to put in the negative, I just say, he was not eating. And at precisely 8 o'clock last Monday, I was studying for my law exams. Well, simply negative. I was not studying. Okay, that's easier. It should be for you, okay? Now, present perfect. Okay, now this one is a little more difficult, okay? You have to, well, actually, it's not. It's not. Because you have to, look, Jody and his friend have, Jody and his friend is they, so that you have to say have. already been in jail 2 weeks. Well, you have as my auxiliary, and been is my past participle, verb in the past participle. Well, in the negative, you keep it. Okay? John, now look, I made a mistake, he has, but it should be they. I'm going to correct it. They, actually I can do this. They, and this is going to be have. Yeah. They have not been. Okay, that's a negative. Robert has never committed a crime in his life. Well, the negative, you just say Robert is he, and he is third person singular, so you have to say has, you have to be consistent, not committed a crime. Judge, the accused, has used his rifle before. He, the accused, has, and again you add not used this rifle before. So it's not that bad. It's easy, actually. Now, quickly, we're going to the next one is how do we ask questions? Now, this is not complicated. If you have listened to the first part, you've taken notes, each child has the same hat again. So you remember, there are 6 children. Okay, 6 or 5. I'm not sure. I have too many children. So when you have here, this is the rule. You have an auxiliary, does. Okay, you have the subject is John and the verb is base form. Okay, so look here. John studies criminology at the University of New Brunswick. Well, can you guess which verb tense this is? Which child is this? It's a simple present, huh? Simple present. Okay, there you go. We'll make it a little bigger. Okay, simple present. I'll make this one too. Oh, there. Okay, and if I want to ask a question, I have to use does because it's John, he. So does, and I have to put a subject after. So does John? Oh, look, my verb. Look here, it studies my verb. Do you see what changes when you conjugate in the question form? It changes. It takes the form of base form, neutral. So you drop the S, you put the Y back on. Okay, that's simple present. Okay, now let's go here. If I say Tony is helping the paralegal to find where the courtroom is, well, look here. My auxiliary is what? It's auxiliary subject verb still for a question. Yes, no question. But my auxiliary now is. My subject is Tony, and my verb is the present participle. Well, what's fun with this one is you keep the same. With the simple present, it's tricky. Studies becomes study. But can you guess this one? It's present progressive. Yeah, the present progressive, it stays the same, but you just change the order. Okay, there you go, present progressive. Okay, now let's go with this one. Anne started to cry while she was sleeping. Now, this kid, his hat is tricky. Look, if I want to use simple past, it started, ed, but when I want to put it in the yes, no question, I have to, there's no auxiliary. It's like the simple present. There wasn't an auxiliary in the original sentence, but for that child, for the simple present, it's do and does. You remember that? The hat? Well, for this child, the simple past, his hat is did. Okay, with a not. So you say, Anne started to cry. So here, your auxiliary is going to be did. And just like simple present, in the question form, the verb has to be base form. Well, in the simple past, it's identical. The verb has to be base form. Okay? Okay, let's go. Now, here, the accused has never seen inside of a prison before. Well, has never seen that. Well, we know that one. What is it? It's a present perfect, huh? Okay, present perfect. Now this one is a little tricky, but let's go. I have auxiliary, subject, and verb always, okay, for a yes-no question. But here my subject is has. My auxiliary is has, excuse me. My subject is the accused, and my verb is the past participle, but it stays the same. Okay, you don't have to change it, you just bring it over. The hat is always has, have, and yes, past participle. Okay, now let's go with here. Now, we just practiced yes-no questions. Now there is information questions. Okay, and an information question is basically the question word. Where, why, when, what, okay, etc. The auxiliary, and the auxiliary could be was, were, did, has, have. And the subject, and then the verb could be base form, present, or past participle. McCarthy, this is complicated. Well, no, you have to match the child with the hat. That's not complicated. You just have to remember your children. So John wants to be on judge. Why? So if I use why, well, did you notice this one? Wants. Do you know what verb tense that is? Which child is that? Yes, it's a simple present. And this child, the hat, remember? It's do, does, do, does. It depends on the subject, if it's a do or a does. So why does John, and the verb is base form, do, does, base form, do, does, base form. That's the hat of that child, the simple present. Okay, now let's go to the next child. Wait, before I finish, I have to tell you something. You have to, for these information questions, because I'm not going to do another complicated thing, because I want to make this short, but you have to realize that John wants to be on jury. Why? But if I change the why to when, well then I'm going to just change this. When does John want to be on jury? I'll give you another one that's I'm not going to be written. You're going to listen to me this time, okay? If I say Jack went to the movies yesterday, and you want to know why. Jack went to the movies yesterday. You want to know why? Well, if you follow the why is here, that's your information word. You start with that. Why? But Jack went. Oh, that child, he's wearing the hat. Oh, the child's name is simple past. He's wearing the hat. Did, base form, did, base form. So you have to say, why did that child go to the movies? I don't remember my question. I'm having too much fun. But anyway, so quickly, this is my quick explanation of the verb tenses, the 5 or 6 kids. Count these number of kids we have. Well, we have simple past, simple present, present progressive, simple past, past progressive, and present perfect. We have 6 kids. And they each have a hat, okay? Review this. I try to make it fun by teaching this, but the idea behind it is you have to learn it, okay? And don't do like you've done with every other English class. You review it, yeah, I know this, I know this, I know this. And then when you speak, you're all confused. When you write, you're all confused. So we're going to be different with me. You're going to have to study this, and you're going to have to take notes. You're going to have to memorize it. So when you speak, it comes out correctly. When you write it, it comes out correctly. And that means you've mastered it. And when you've mastered it, well, you're walking, you're talking in a totally different way. You're going to make me happy. You're going to pass this course. Okay, let's go. That's the end. I wish you the best. Okay, get this done. Get it studied for the next class. Okay, thank you. Peace and love.